Hey y'all, we're in the garden this morning, and for this video we are just going to take a walk around and see what's what this time of year in the garden. I would love to have shown you guys how much the lettuce progressed, but I had a rogue chicken. And so a lot of the lettuce that we transplanted out got eaten down, unfortunately, but this actually happened last year and we had several chickens in the garden. But yeah, we had a little miss that couldn't resist. So our lettuce transplants were pretty much eaten all the way down. They were doing fairly well. I actually pulled from them a couple nights ago for taco night. You can see some of the broccoli was pecked on, eaten. Some of our red romaine in the back here didn't get eaten down quite as badly, but she really went to town on our green lettuces. So have to wait to show you guys that. But our broccoli and cauliflower looks really good in the middle of this bed. This is the bed we transplanted out together in a previous video. I do see a lot of my flower seeds germinating. I came over here and put some more cauliflower in, some parsley, and I'm actually starting to see some ranunculus sprout again. I planted those corms last winter, I believe it was, in hopes of having some cut flowers.
Peppers.
You see?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not sure I would invest in any more ranunculus where I am, just because of the need for frost protection, and the frost killed them back completely last year. By the time it actually warmed up, it got really warm really fast, and they aren't super heat tolerant either. So that's the deal with ranunculus. I broadcasted some carrot seeds in this bed as well, and I can see some of those starting to germinate here and there. So this bed, I think, is my last bed with peppers, some stray jalapenos.
I can put them with my son.
Oh, that'll work. So Sully's picking peppers, and we do have a few dahlias still trying to bloom. This one got broken. We've got a couple more cauliflower, I believe, on this back side. All right, this is another bed that I showed you guys in the last video with our bok choy, some Chinese cabbage, like a Napa cabbage variety, some violas, which have been slow to germinate and take off, and okay, I'll get them. And I also came back and sowed another round of peas here, because the first time I sowed peas, I think it was still a bit too hot and they were kind of stunted, either from the heat or the transplant. So I came back, and I believe the variety is golden sweet peas on these, but we've sown a couple of different varieties of peas just to make use of our trellis, really. And then I came back in here with some pelleted carrot seeds yesterday, day before yesterday. I think those are the Sugar Max from Johnny Seed Select. I've also got some alyssum started right here. So I said I wasn't sure about mix and matching, but obviously that's the route I'm going again. So we'll see how this bed progresses. The fire ants have been insane. As soon as I get rid of them in one spot, they come back someplace else. So just kind of something that I work around. I can't remember the last time I shared this bed with you guys, but this loofah has gone as crazy as this trellis will allow it to, I believe. There are a couple of fruits still on the vine. I'm just gonna let this do its thing. I pulled a couple that are already brown and dry. We're still getting flowers, even though we've had a frost already.
Look, feathers. See, Mom?
But yeah, loofah's doing well. My sister and I are gonna make some scrubby soaps with those.
See?
Oh, I see your jalapenos. The bottom of this bed has asparagus that I started from seed. This is a perennial. It takes a couple of years to harvest. You kind of just need to let it go for a few years, and then you can come in and harvest from it. So that's why this looks a little bit wild and crazy right now. I'm trying to see. There's one, like a stalk that looks like something you might get in the store, but all of this may have past that point already. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. All right, let's take a look at what else we've got going. Here's an update on one of our citrus trees. This is the Hamlin Orange, and they're nearly ripe. They're not smelling super sweet yet. They could probably get a bit more color to them, but I'm super excited that this tree has done so well here. The other Hamlin Orange that we had on the other side does not look so hot. I will take you guys into the greenhouse shortly and show you what I've got going on in there as far as citrus goes. All right, here in our wooden raised beds, this is where we planted some of our ginger and what else is this? Garlic from last year. So we saved a few bulbs of garlic and we've just started separating them out, and they are starting to send up their greens. So we've got some garlic here, and then we've also got some coming up in this bed right here. And in between that, I planted, I think there's some calendula in this bed. I don't see a whole lot else going on. I tried to stick some onions in here, but I'm thinking I'm gonna have to come back and re-sow this. We still have a little bit of pest pressure on our young brassicas. So we've got Savoy cabbages in this bed, and a few onions right here, onion right there, and then we've got one of our kumquat trees right here. So the kumquats seem to do well here.
Big one.
Yeah, I see that. You want to taste it?
Yeah.
You can have it. The kumquats seem to do well here. They are a more cold hardy variety. So with the kumquat, you eat the flesh and the skin on the outside. All right, so we got our kumquats, and you don't peel these. The skin is sweet. The inside is actually a little bit more tart. Eat it. The inside is more tart, so just like that. Do you like it? Yeah. It does have juice. Sullivan has actually been snacking on most of the kumquats. So I'm glad that they are able to come out here and just sort of pick something that they like. Sally, what is that?
Roses.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. Okay, Archer. Wow. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got going on. I've got a few varieties of dahlias that are still blooming. I'm not cutting from them as often. And, oh, look at this. Garden spider. Don't quote me on that. I'll just say a spider in my garden with a little egg sac. Neat.
That's a spider right there.
I see. Okay, so anyways, I'm not cutting from the dahlias quite as often. I'm hoping for larger tubers and more production out of them next summer. So we'll see how that goes. Here's another bed towards the back of the garden that has cauliflower and carrots. I think I did put some calendula on the corners right there, and that's either going to be the yellow and orange calendula we grew over the spring and summer, or the zeolite calendula, which is almost like a pale pink or an apricot color. And that's just to add something nice to look at. We will probably harvest a few blooms here and there just to infuse with different oils. Here are some more dahlias still in bloom. I kind of feel like there were definitely times when I just hesitated to cut these because they're so nice. And the blooms last a while in the garden too, so I've definitely enjoyed having the dahlias. This was my first year growing them, and they definitely did far better for me than the ranunculus, which is another fairly popular cut flower.
It's honeybee.
Is it a honeybee or bumblebee?
Bumblebee.
Looks like it might be a little bumblebee.
It's a big one.
It is kind of big, Sully. All right, this bed right here, I've got some chives that have been going all spring and summer. They're fairly small. I think these guys are gonna do better in the winter time. And I've come through and direct sown some onions in this bed as well. So we do have onions that have germinated, some that have been here all spring and summer, pulling some greens off of those. I feel like these were kind of hidden behind the peppers. I didn't realize they were here, so I just recently started picking some greens off of that. And then because this bed has a trellis, I also came in with some Frost Hardy sweet peas, and sweet peas right here, they have started to germinate. Well, there's none we can eat yet, we have to wait. And then we seeded some cilantro in both corners of this long bed. Sally, have you been having fun in the garden?
Yeah.
Even though the mosquitoes are bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mosquitoes have been really, really crazy. I think it's a combination of standing water from, what was the storm? Ian, and then we got another heavy rain shortly after that. So it's just been really wet here in certain places for quite some time now. More dahlia glory right there. And in the bottom of this bed, I've got some lettuce, all right, so we've got lettuce right here. And I actually didn't separate these out just to see how that would go. I'm thinking the strongest plants will kind of just shade out the others. And I've got some arugula back here, which I'm really looking forward to because I enjoy that on pizza. And more peas started right here in the back. Sully has been snacking here and there on the few peas that we've gotten, and he's enjoying those. So that's fun to enjoy with him. I've got some more brassicas here. I don't remember broccoli or cauliflower, and then some calendula on both ends of this bed. All right, over here, we still have this lone tomato plant. So we've gotten a couple frosts. that only lasts for a couple of hours. And this tomato plant is still thriving. So little fruits, little blooms. And because I have the space for now and I'm not feeling pressured to pull this out, I'm just gonna kind of let this go and see what happens. Okay, so one thing I feel like I don't show very often is the fruit tree rows. So let's catch you guys up on what that looks like. This side of the garden, we've got a little bit of everything: plums, peach, blackberry, olive, roses, some tea bushes, figs along the back there. There's some herbs: rosemary, blueberry, loquat, some citrus. This is calamondin, I believe. And if I walk down, got some tangerine varieties, another kumquat there in the corner. And one thing that I'm trying to focus on this winter is improving the care of my citrus. This is Spanish lavender. That's kind of gotten pretty big. Bumblebees love this in the springtime. But citrus. Okay, so our soil here is it's not ideal for citrus, and I'm not speaking about South Carolina as a whole, just in my garden, what I've got available. And so what I've started doing is putting some of our citrus in pots, and I moved some of it to the greenhouse. And what I would like to do is to add some citrus specific soil to the citrus that is still outside or not going to be put into pots. Like the kumquats seem to do well over the winter here. I didn't have any loss of foliage. I didn't have any yellowing of foliage. And so what I'm planning to do for those is to just add some citrus specific fertilizer and soil to the ground for those citrus trees. Now, the plants that really have been in bad shape, I moved those to pots, put them in citrus soil, and have taken them to the greenhouse just because we do get frost here in the low country of South Carolina, and a lot of these citrus varieties are not frost hardy. Anything at or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit can cause some damage to the foliage. So I will show you what I've got going on in the greenhouse as far as our citrus goes. Okay, here is one of the trees I pulled. I think this might be a lemon. Yeah, this is Harvey lemon. And the citrus that I brought in, I'm seeing just a lot of yellowing of the leaves, a lot of leaf drop, and I figured if they're already looking pretty bad, it's worth a shot. So I've got a Harvey lemon right here. I've got Persian lime right here. This, I just feel like they just looked so much better. And I know the soil here is really heavy with clay. Maybe they are sitting in water too long. So this is, sort of an experiment as the garden can tend to become. Here is my other Hamlin orange. And I actually had to cut a lot of branches off of this one because they were it was dead wood, no leaves, no fruit. I do have a couple of oranges on there. And I'm just using the Miracle-Gro cactus, palm, and citrus mix for these plants that I've got in the greenhouse. And what is this? This is a Valencia orange that actually died back last winter because of the frost and came back this spring. So that's what I've got in this pot. And then my variegated pink Eureka lemon is back here. And I've got one more, I think it's a grapefruit. Let's see. Okay, there's this grapefruit. So this is pretty much how this plant looked when I pulled it out of the ground, with the exception of this leaf curl. And I'm willing to bet all of these leaves will probably drop off. Citrus, I mean, I feel like it's fairly resilient. I won't say it's hardy, but it's resilient. It can sort of bounce back. So I'll keep you guys posted on these citrus plants or these citrus trees and how they progress along. Aside from that, the greenhouse is starting to empty a bit. I've got a few more things here and there, and that little seed starting tray, and then I've got a few things here and there in this one, and that's about it for now. Some parsley, some Savoy cabbage, and a couple of stragglers, chamomile, little lettuces. Okay, and lastly, this is the other side of the garden with our last few rows of fruit. Pretty much the same varieties over here, with the exception of the pecans, the pears. Oh, we've got some persimmon back here in the corner. A lot of this stuff takes a while to get going as far as fruit production, and so that's why you don't see a whole lot of it on our videos. This persimmon, because we're still kind of in that stage of waiting to harvest fruit, or for these trees and bushes to bear fruit. Here's a tangerine, and again, just lots of yellowing. They're here, they're hanging on, but I don't feel like they're thriving, and so that's something I'd like to work on. Another tangerine. Y'all, these thorns are something serious. Almost the length of a finger, maybe the length of my pinky. And so, as you can imagine, coming to cover those with frost fabric, or last year we tried plastic, which wasn't super successful, but it's a task. Alrighty, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed walk through the garden, checking out a few of the beds that we've gotten started so far. Probably show you a little bit more next time. It's hard to get it all on one video without it being extremely long. So take care, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.